This is how to make a marionette torso and pelvis. First, get your technical drawing out. This is my drawing for Fred, the nephew of Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm building a version of the Christmas Carol right now. So take your tracing paper out, lay it over your pattern, trace the shape of your torso and pelvis on the front view. Then trace just your pelvis on the side view. Next, we have to true this pattern because it's not symmetrical and also the lines aren't straight. Start out with straightening the lines and straighten the lines on the tops of the pelvis. Now, in order to get a pattern symmetrical, you can fold it in half, trim off the parts that you don't like, and then also I have a pattern notch maker, and I like to mark where the curve of the neckline is. I have a scrap of paper here. Lay this torso pattern onto your paper and trace it, then cut it out. Go ahead and cut out following your marks. And here's the front of my torso, and we're going to use this as the back piece as well, and we'll just omit this curved part. Now it's time to do the pelvis. The crotch side part of the pelvis, I'm going to be gluing that onto the back part of the pelvis. Fold a little bit back. Now first take the back part of the pelvis, fold it in half so we can make sure that this pattern is symmetrical. And I like to do a notch for where the butt string might go later and to help mark center. So there's my butt plate. And let's cut out a side and then make a hole in the middle of this, a notched hole. Now this is going to be the crotch piece. So when it comes to the pelvis, we're going to have the butt part and then the crotch part sit at a perpendicular angle, and then on the top there we're going to need a flat part to make the top of the pelvis. Imagine you are looking at your marionette from underneath. Kind of trace the butt part and put it at a right angle and trace the crotch part, and then so we have a T shape here, and then draw a round shape to be the top, and we'll have a hole on each side for the leg wires to go in. Get this out right now. So this is the top of your pelvis. Next we cut it out of wood. Now this is a piece of wood that I found, so it's very free, and it looks about like it's a, I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it's 1/4 of an inch thick. Trace these. Now you will trace the torso twice. Once for the front, once for the back. Now the back, you're going to omit the neck swoop. So, right where the neck swoop ends, you're going to take a ruler and draw a straight across. So we have two sides of the torso there, one with the neck swoop and one without the neck swoop. Next, pelvis. Now for right now, I'm gonna cut out these parts, the top of the pelvis, the butt, and the two torsos. All right, I've cut my pieces out on the bandsaw here. And the next thing to do is bring out your technical drawing. And we are going to look at our side view here. Now, take the butt piece of your pelvis and the top of your pelvis, and they're going to go at a right angle. And you're going to lean it against your drawing, and then take your crotch piece and check to make sure that it is indeed the right size. Mine's a little bit too big, by about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, got my crotch piece traced. We're going to take our two torso pieces, put them side to side, and figure out how thick across you'd like your marionette to be. When you're holding it in place, I just take a seam gauge and measure the inside of that gap there. 1 5/8 inch, and of course this will be different for every one of your marionettes that you do. So it is 1 5/8 inch across. Take a piece of scrap paper, get a good right angle to start off with, and then measure 1 5/8 inch. So I'll make it a big rectangle here of a 1 5/8 inch strip and cut that out. Then you're going to take your torso piece and measure your shoulder width. And I'm just going to mark it off. So this is my shoulder. And then, just to be clear, mark which sides are against the torso. And then you're going to measure the side of your torso, the rib of your torso, and mark that off. And because it's going to be against the shoulder piece, edit off, since my wood I'm using is about 1/4 of an inch, edit off 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to call this rib. Now on the rib cage, we will cut a hole on the side in order to put a wire in to hold the head on. So I'm going to take my pattern and create a hole in the center to mark. All right, and let's cut out 2 ribs and 2 shoulders. Now go cut this out on the bandsaw. Okay, Now I got my ribs and my shoulder pieces cut out. The next thing to do is to drill holes in the top of the pelvis, the crotch piece, and the 2 rib pieces. And I'm using a drill bit that's about the size of a drinking straw. All right, and there we have our pieces with our holes in them. And the last thing is to glue it together. 2 pieces of cardboard. Let's do the torso first. So take your 2 torso pieces, then put down your shoulder pieces just to figure out if it all fits together well. And then my 2 rib pieces. And then we'll take that whole thing and sandwich the top one together. So let's do this. Take your wood glue and you're going to put wood glue on the top and the sides. And put your shoulders on, trying to get it flush to the top of your shoulder part on your torso. And place your rib pieces on. And I don't worry too much about how the torso looks because it's going to be covered by a costume. And then put glue on the top. Try to get it as flush as possible. And there's your top torso. Next we put together the pelvis. So I take my butt piece and my top pelvis piece go together at right angles. And then my crotch piece fits in the center. Like that. We're all dry now, and here is the torso piece, and here is the pelvis piece. So next we're going to put in the wire that sustains the head. So take your torso piece, measure across from hole to hole, and it looks like it's about 4.5 inches across. So I'm going to add 5.5 inches of wire. And this is wire that is left over from another project. It's kind of a little thicker than hanger wire. So I got a piece of wire to go through. All right, so we're going to pound a right angle onto this wire. And we can actually go a little more than a right angle because we have a trapezoid shape here. And then thread that through. hold one side and pound the other side down. And there we have it. Next, we thread some wire through the pelvis. Take a measuring tape and measure at least around it. Well, it looks like at least we'll need about 10 inches. So just be sure, I'll cut 14. And this is some flexible copper wire that they use for welding, I think. Anyway, there we go. And so you're going to go through the top of the pelvis first. Then you're going to bend to go through the hole on the crotch part. Okay, so now I got the wire going through the hole. Bring it back up through the top and pull it through. So our legs are going to hang off of here and here. Here's a finished marionette, and you see my legs are hanging off of straps off of my two wires. So we need to make sure that there's a U shape on each one of these legs so that the straps can hang down. Once you get something like that, then twist the top. Let's cut off these excess guys right now. So I have this. I like to finish off by using my vice grip in order to flatten some of this wire. And there we have it. We have a marionette torso with the head wire attached, and then we have our marionette pelvis. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Every time you subscribe, a kitten gets its wings.